yellow water, billabong at the moment. But most importantly, we are on the traditional lands of the Murrumboo people. They're the floodplain people. They're on their land, their country this afternoon. The yellow water's billabong actually doesn't start here. It starts all the way up at Jim Falls, probably another 60k from here. So it starts up there. You usually get the first major rain somewhere just before or after Christmas. Hit short, sharp little storms, actually call them knock 'em down storms. It's such a violent storm, lasts about an hour. A heap of lightning, heap of rain, and the wind comes through at that time as well. Again, knock 'em down, knocks everything over, knocks everything down. So the first major rain just before or after Christmas. It runs off the escarpment, creating what is Jim Jim Falls, into happily named Jim Jim Creek, Jim Jim Billabong, through into Mardigal Billabong, home Billabong, which is actually behind Coindo Lodge. If you are staying with us here at Coindo, you are drinking the water from the Billabong. Filtered, as you're wondering. So it runs through a little channel behind us, into here, into yellow water, out onto the South Alligator River, eventually all the way to the Arapura Sea. Kakadu, or Gagajoo as it's known in language, it's roughly 20,000 square kilometres. Well over a third of that will be underwater in a good wet season. Just to give you some idea, a normal wet season, that ramp you just walked down will be a good couple of metres underwater. In 2006 was another one of those years. That year they had a metre of water flowing through the lodge and the restaurant. Yes, there were crocodile in the swimming pool that year. Give you some idea. No, we are open 365 days a year. 7 days a week. I think we're closed Christmas Day. The other thing that stops us out here is cyclones and lightning. Apparently aluminium boats and billabongs don't go well together. And the time the tour will be cancelled. Yellow water gets its name because as the flood water runs off, it brings all that yellowy, tanny coloured water. Basically nutrients that are picked up from the grass and the trees around, staining the water that yellow colour, hence yellow water. As we do go along, you guys have more eyes than I do, so if you do see something, feel free to point it out. If you have any questions too, also feel free to ask. Your job, kids, you have to spot the crocodile. We do get the estuarine and saltwater crocodile. Estuarine, saltwater crocodile, sorry, not two different species. Oh, we get the freshwater crocodile of Johnson's as well. A couple of ducks there, the plume whistling duck. We'll see plenty of them. Having a wash. Keep your eye out too. The kingfishers and that sort of thing. They're usually around the left hand side. So we get the second largest, then we get the smallest up here too. The second largest actually is called the blue-winged kookaburra. All the serious kookaburras we've caught have forgotten how to laugh. Very serious. actually called the little kingfisher. The crocodile, yeah. So I can't really stop. That's a salty. I can't stop, unfortunately. It was a little salty back there.
Yeah.
Saw a crocodile.
Where
It's
is
a little
it?
bit shallow for you, so I can't really stop.
Like we're going to see a lot more. Yeah, but just the tail of it. He said he couldn't stop there because it's shallow. And we're going to see
Little kingfisher, as I mentioned, grows about the size of a golf ball or a 50-cent piece. Exceedingly small, about 11 centimetres. We're heading out in the yellow water billabong. The Nankee night heron there. Hopefully we see a few more of them just on the left there at the base of that pandemic. The Nankee night heron. Coming out of yellow water, this is now onto the South Alligator River. So the South Alligator was given its name by Lieutenant Philip Parker King. He was an English explorer. He came into this area around 1880 and named all three of the alligator rivers. The one a bit closer to Darwin, the West Alligator, this one the south, a bit further inland, the East Alligator River. Why? Call them alligator and not crocodile rivers? Because you didn't know the difference. Not so some great other mystery, but no. Actually wrote in his journal, he said, I've seen a lot of very large alligators along the banks today. This is not a safe place to camp. So it's absolutely right, it was not a safe place to camp. Kangaroo over there. On the other boat. Hopefully see another one of them a bit closer up. There's on the left hand side, there's a really big tall black and white bird back there. That's the jabiru. Jabiroos aren't native to this area, originally from South America. Obviously like the area, so they've stayed. One of my favourite birds though, jabiroos. Reason being because their beaks are really strong. One of their favourite foods out here is turtle. So they'll blast through it like Woody Woodpecker if they catch it and break it open. And it has to be cleaned, whatever they eat has to be perfectly clean. So they'll pick a bit out of it, stick it in the water, wash it a bit. No, still dirty, back in the water again. I've seen them muck around for well over an hour with their gills, they're incredible. So the jabiru language is called Jaganar. It does have another name, the black-necked stork. Being our only stork, hence we call it the black-necked stork or jabiru. Because jabiru is a Portuguese word, it means all storks. Then we get scratched. Pretty cool birds, he's fishing away, right? Thought I'd have another scratch. I think it's funny because their knees bend the wrong way too. They stand about 1.2, 1.3 metres tall. Hopefully we see the other ones, the brolga. Brolga is one of the two crane species we get here. Motoring along. See what else we can see. It's the biggest river within Kakadu. So 240 kilometres long, this river. Actually flows all the way out to the Arafura Sea. And it's the only river too that's encapsulated within a World Heritage List and a National Park. This is pretty well the main vein. Don't have to worry about the tide here. Obviously, as you get closer, we kept going this way. In fact, we would. Not so now. Just willing to get out and push. No, I would make it to the sea. But the downside to that is that you would have to worry about the tide. The biggest tide I've ever seen on the south was over 8 metres, but it rose and fell. But normally it will rise and fall a metre within 10 minutes. If you get stuck out there, there's a lot of things that like to eat you. One lying on the bank over there, on the left.
Hmm? Where?
Just at the edge of the water.
Well, other little
Ah.
birds there too.
There's a croc.
Sorry, he's in a bit poor light there, but anyway.
Here, come. Miriam.
It's light colour.
So, Estuarine saltwater crocodile. In language, crocodile is saltwater crocodile, I should say, is ginger.
Ah.
He's about average, that one, or she's about average. Only really way to tell males and females, other than the size. Males will always be bigger. Just stick your fingers in a place you don't want to. And no, I'm not talking to their mouths either. So this is what they spend 99.9% of their days, weeks, sometimes years doing. What's that? That's it, nothing. It's their ability to slow their heart rates down. Even if they're lying on the bottom of the river, they can do it too. Slow their heart rates down to about 2 or 3 beats a minute.
Did you see the crocodile?
Watch the world go by them.
Yes.
Not any rush. Makes them very successful hunters as well.
Yeah, there's bison, of course, because this is their house.
A number of birds as well. Actually, that sort of a tall one just on the left there. With that sort of that white front. It's actually cooling away. I'm not sure what it's doing there. Cooling itself down maybe. The Australasian darter, that's the female on the back with the white front. The males are all black. More whistling duck there. Egrets, royal spoonbill there as well. Off the front of the boat, that little white bird, its head going backwards and forwards. Mud. Amazing amount of life. And yes, crocodiles will eat all of it. The only thing that saves them, these birds, is that the crocodiles can't digest their feathers. So they don't eat them as often as you would imagine they would. It's in the boat so you can see it on this left hand side. The other reason that crocodiles haul themselves up onto the bank, other than to be good for us, so they can take photos. We'll move over there. The other reason they are on the bank crocodiles too is because they can't regulate their body temperature. They're either too hot or they're too cold. Very, very little. Because they have to haul themselves out on the bank to get warm. If it's too cold, sometimes in the morning, this year in July, it was freezing in the morning. Got down to, it was all well in 15 degrees. For everyone else down south, that was about their top. For us, it was freezing. So they were in the water because it was the warmest spot. As soon as the sun came up, they hauled themselves out. Basically, spread eagles on the bank, trying to get the sun on them as much as they could. Without it, their food in their stomachs will rot and they'll die. And they don't have any energy to do anything else without the heat in their bodies. In fact, scientists now have learnt that if the water temperature gets down below a certain amount, they can actually swim with them. There's Brogger there in front there too, smack in front of the boat. It's really brown blobs out there. 4 crocodiles there, 5, 1 in the water. That's very unusual though. Very unusual. They must be of equal size. Or they're all females. If there was a big dominant male in that group, they would not tolerate any of that. Big males hate one another. If we're unlucky enough, fingers crossed. There's a big one over there. So you can see the head in the water. Right hand side. Another one on the back there too.
Yeah, it's
Keep an eye on both of them. There might be a barney between them. They have been fighting. They've been fighting a lot earlier this year too.
Oh, there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Always will
Is that the
crocodiles
ones
go for the
where-
tails of each other. Doesn't matter how much you weigh, it's all about length for crocodiles. You're missing a slight bit of your tail. That's it, you're no longer dominant. And it affects everything about them too, their swimming ability, their hunting ability.
Oh, yes, little
On and
one.
on that list
There's a
goes.
head there, there's another head over there.
Oh, yeah.
Quite a few.
It's a lot.
So if there is a fight, again, they'll go for their tails because they want to avoid fighting. They can actually die, obviously, from being chopped on by another one. But again, without the sun, they can't do any of that. Here we go.
Oh, it's moving.
The other one's going under somewhere.
This big one is moving. And I can see.
It's really hard to see.
Jabberoo, there's Brogger
Yes.
there as well.
Got it.
Plum in front.
I literally can't tell one thing from another.
Couple of tiny little birds there too on the left,
Okay.
right near the water's edge.
Can't see.
Black-fronted doctorals,
Okay.
like a bird. Just see it walking towards that crocodile close to that tree there. Hopefully start seeing more Brogger a bit closer too. One of my favourite birds. That beautiful whooping, trumpeting call in the morning. It just warms my soul to hear it. It really does. It's beautiful. They are one of the 2 species of crane. The other one being the Cirrus crane.
Yeah, water,
It's got a lot more, it's basically the same bird, it's got a lot more red down its head as opposed to the Brogger. It's got the single stripe.
Also here in Japan,
With red around its head. Going along, hopefully see a few more. 2 crocodiles
way.
there.
Yeah.
Little ones.
Where? See? Another one. This one.
Going, so we're going downstream on the south. So all this area for the Moorabool people is very, very useful to them. They didn't need to go to Woolies, didn't need to go to the chemist either. Everything they had or needed was around them. Passed down from generation to generation. All this knowledge of country and land. One of the plants is very useful to them. They're actually growing on either side of it. It's probably more prominent there on the right, that small little tree. No, that's freshwater mangrove. So unlike the coastal mangroves have their roots sticking out of the ground, these ones are permanently in it. After the Murrumboo people, they take the bark, the roots of it, grind that into a paste. It's a really good fishing tool for them. So they'd spread it through shallow water billabongs and water holes and clogged up the fish's gills so they just float to the surface. Didn't kill them, so it wasn't a poison either. They'd caught enough, or it was the wrong ones. They'd wash the muck out of their gills and release them, they were fine. Incredibly useful. There's the Jabiru flying in. There's a beautiful green and blue in its neck as we get it in the right light. That's the male too. Males have black eyes, the females will always have the yellow eyes.
Take a picture, mommy will take it.
Alright, this is a male. Going down to fish. Amazing shot. Get it in the right light there. Looking. See the beak, how it's really sharp. It's exceedingly strong, as I mentioned already. That's their real weapon. In fact, it's strong enough that they'll even kill crocodiles with it too. The soft spot just behind the back of their neck. But if a Jabiru decided to defend itself, it could kill them.
Daddy, bring it there. Stroller. Yeah, together with you.
Hoping it would do something, but decided it was going to get its photo taken a bit closer, this one's. But also too, they're probably in there looking for file snake as well. I will mention file snake a bit later on, but it is one of the only snakes that lives its whole life in the mud or the water. They will eat lizards and stuff as well, these guys. They are prone to the cane toads, unfortunately, so they will eat them too. So not. So you'd much rather see these guys than see the cane toads. I suggest, the 5 iron for the toad. It's just my personal suggestion. Some of you might go the 3 iron. Extra distance, but 1 wood's too much for the toad. It just spreads it too fast. Yeah, that's that weird sense of humour. There's a cartoon they brought out about that. It's hilarious. Baz and Daz, the cane toad. Pretty cool. You don't see these guys stand there for that long. They usually sort of walk along the bank. Leaving big. Not playing ball with us. mangrove, as I mentioned, has another use too. They call it the punishment tree. So if you've done something wrong and they wanted to teach you a lesson, without telling you, they would say, you go, sit under that tree. Not gonna change. You can climb it too. Good climbing tree. I can absolutely guarantee you that would be the last time you would do that. I am talking from personal experience. No, not because I've done something wrong. There's a little caterpillar that lives in that tree. They actually call it itchy grub. It's got fine little hairs on it, and if your skin rubs against it, the hairs will get inside the pores of your skin. It feels like someone burnt you or set your skin on fire and made it exceedingly itchy at the same time. The reason I know that is when I'm not doing this, I'm the fishing guide out here. I was out one day fishing lures only out here, no baits of any kind allowed within Kakadu. So one of my clients threw the lure into the tree, and being the good fishing guy, I said, I'll get that for you, and stung my itchy grub for my trouble. Oh wow. Got stung twice. Hurt like crazy, and my hand swelled up and it went numb. Crocodile
Another
right
way.
sitting around.
Another way.
Another reason why they've been so successful is that, I'm going back to honest, but their ability to leave no sign. You can tell that's swimming. Why? Because the ripple off the front of its nose. You see when it moves its tail, there's nothing. It's all because of their spines or their scoots on their tails. Creates no weight because they've been designed so one will be slightly forward or back, one will be curved and one won't be. And it creates very, very little drag. But if you're missing part of that, then it can be seen a lot more easily by prey, so a lot of the time they don't survive. We did have one in home Billabong, yellow water Billabong. We called him Maxie. As we go up here, we may see his partner in crime. Buffhead.
Yeah,
Buffhead.
yeah,
He's got a big head. He's one of the dominant males. Maxie and Buffhead had a fight, and poor old Maxie lost 300 mil of his tail. So we're not sure what happened to Maxie. We think he might have passed away because he can be seen by everything. He is no longer dominant. Keep an eye on it. Another one in the bank with his mouth open. Sorry, it's a bad light there. My croconees has not been good. Need to really work on that. It needs to be a better light.
It is so beautiful.
Keep an eye on this big one.
The water is so
Hunting through here.
smooth.
We're looking for fire snakes, turbot, freshwater mussels. It's actually why they're in here, the salty. Salty's not really a fair name. They much prefer fresh water. Heck, they live in mineral water if you let them too. Why? Because all the things they want to eat have to come down to the fresh water at some point. Stuck in the salt water, they're basically fish, crabs, and maybe the occasional turtle. They come out here, they can eat anything. From full-grown buffalo down to stuff like fire snake, freshwater mussel, freshwater prawns we get here called cherubin. Red claw, it's a freshwater crayfish. Anything else in between they'll eat too. While they lie down there with their mouths open, I'll try and back up. So it's not the best spot there, but anyway. To cool themselves down. Because as I mentioned, they can't regulate their body temperatures. So if they get too hot, they actually cook their brains as well, cook their insides. So they open up their mouths, it acts like an evaporative air conditioner. Cools them from the inside out.
Oh,
It is just a theory though. Because I've seen them do it like in the evening when they shouldn't have to. They are more active at night. So.
It's a brown one. I know, I can see the brown one. And there's a black one.
In fact, that is when they do most of their hunting at night.
Black one, what's that?
The other way that they regulate their body temperatures through the lumps on their backs and their tails. Lumps on their back is called osteoderms. The tails called scoops and the spikes. Blood vessels are run through both, almost to the surface of their skin. The osteoderm is solid bone, so again it acts as a bit of protection to them as well.
Yes. We're so close.
Yeah, so cute.
It's a big one. See the head? It's so big. That's one big head. Oh my God.
So if they get too hot, they'll force the warm blood to the surface of their skin and just evaporates off.
See that?
Too cold, they'll reverse the process. Warm up their internal organs.
Where is it? Right there.
Bring them out. Give me the mouth, okay?
Alex, do Alex. Mira,
We get the dog trick. Again, you'd never know that was moving, would you? Incredible. They can do the same too when they sink under the water. Leave no trace, no sign.
What's this one?
The other awesome thing about them is they still don't know everything about them either. They're still doing research.
Thank you.
One guy that works at the Crocodilus Park. A friend of his has been doing crocodilian research for well over 40 years. I've read their book. And every year they learn new things about them. Stuff about what they ate. There's very little known about what they can actually eat. In fact, they have found stones inside some of them as well. They've eaten to help with the buoyancy in the water. They think too that also helps them digest their meals, like crush it up a bit more. So there's been well over 250 million years old. I guarantee there's probably stuff that we'll still learn about them well after. 1970 was the last time they were hunted. And yeah, it was nearly to extinction as well, so in my opinion there's no need to keep hunting. Going along. Good. As we do keep going, keep your eye. Oh, pointed at the bird. The whistling kite in that tree, if that's what you're on, you're pointing at the bird. That's one of the more common birds of prey. Calling away there. Keep your eye around your head height too for all the kingfishers, the Nanking night herons, black-bit and striated heron along the back. Roughly 280 different species of birds we get here within Kakadu. It's roughly that. So if I don't know the name of one, hopefully you forgive me. Maybe not. There's a number of species of honeyeater, flycatcher. On and on that list goes. Bullfed's territory have entered too, so we may or may not see him. Buffet's been a very happy crocodile this year.
Really, are you happy?
Started off with a couple of pigs, and then you got a buffalo, and a very, very happy crocodile he's been. Big one up the front here too. Hopefully he still stays there.
Yeah.
They can live up to 100 in the wild. He could be 50 years old, he could be 10 years old. It all depends on how much they eat and how fast they grow. The only way to tell is cut their shoots off their tails. For them it'd be less painful than moving a toenail or a fingernail for us. I doubt they even feel it. And you look at it under a microscope and you count the growth rate, it's still like a tree, and it's basically the same.
Gigantic one in front of us.
Oh, Savannah. Savannah.
Oh, yeah. One this side.
Savannah.
One here.
Look, they're hiding here. Yeah, here, there's one, a baby one. Yeah, baby one.
One over there, guys, that's a crocodile there.
It's small. It's
Yeah,
so
it's
small.
smaller. No, that one in the middle.
Is that the one? Let me not be.
Normally you hear the kingfishers before you see them. Your point of reference.
Is this the one? Look like?
There's one. I'm hoping to see a little kingfisher. FYI, if I do see one, probably go berserk because I've never actually seen it. As in standing there. I've seen the flash of it, they go boop into the bush, and believe you me, I would put the front of the boat into this tree and look. Long and hard, you know. But they're usually very close to the water's edge, so the first little slime them is to put into the water and they're back. Little fish. Yeah, they're alright, Daddy. Looking to the crocodile. Pretty big, that one. So
Oh yeah.
it's a bit hard to tell with him in the water.
Oh, went into the water.
Yeah, they're alright, Davey.
Yeah,
Get out of the way.
It's gone down.
yeah. It was here for a while.
It's a bit hard to tell. It might have been bullfed. It's in the right spot for it. Get motoring on. Hopefully my motors don't give him a haircut. That was a joke. Oh, there. Anyway. Little lemon-bellied honeyeaters flying out of these trees, they're little birds. Look at numerous other species of flycatcher as well. Yeah, quite a rare flycatcher, called the paperbark flycatcher. ducks. We've gone past quite a few of them, but these are in good light, these ones. These are blue whistling duck. We do get the wandering whistling duck as well. Yeah. Plumes are a lot lighter in colour, the wandering is really dark. Actually has black legs and black feathers. These ducks though, they love to be in big social groups. But pardon the pun, there's a pecking order. Oh yes. But they actually like nothing more than just sort of pluck each other's feathers out and jump on each other's backs. I've no idea who wins these fights. I'm assuming the one that's still got all their feathers, but other than that, they do like to be in big groups like this. None of these guys aren't native to this area either. They're originally from all the islands. PNG, Indonesia, Fiji. Some of them have even come as far as Borneo. Come from Borneo and stayed. They're actually after at the moment freshwater chestnuts, sorry, not mustard. They were feeding on a wild rice that's now slowly gone. Look at that really yellowy tuft in the grass. Getting nice and fat on it. It's one of their only sources of protein. The Moorabor people, yes, they do hunt these ducks. I know some of you are thinking Peking duck as well, but we've got to wait a little bit longer. Both of them to get that real nutty taste to them from the freshwater chestnut. So they will literally be here in their millions sometime. Might go on much further later, doesn't it? Maybe because it just simply does run out of water up there this time of year. Stopped it before it didn't stop. They're on the right hand side, sitting under that tree on the bank there, at the front of the boat. It was a Nanking night heron. Obviously called a Nanking night heron or night heron. They come out at night. This one you see, it's like tucked in the shade there. Doing its usual thing. Staring at itself in the water. They like their own reflection for whatever reason that is. And they'll just stand there and look. Not sure. All I know is that it's full grown adult, that one. The other ones are, yeah, the other one is one, I think, back behind us there. But that's the adult anyway. The juveniles are almost grey in colour. Or they'll have that colouring, but they'll still have the spots along each side of their wings. Sometimes even like stripes and stuff down their fronts, not that pure white body.